get started.
Whatever you like.
Okay.
I'm here.
So, really happy to have you guys all here today. My name is Emily. I'm one of the CeLTA faculty here, and this is Carmen Lorenzo. She'll be talking to us about blended learning. If you guys have come to our professional development events before, you may know that we ask you to fill out a little, we say an evaluation, but it's really suggestions for us. So at the end of today, we're going to do something a little bit different, solicit your feedback for ideas of you might have for speakers as well as topics. So to hopefully get some more ideas. And we also know that sometimes Wednesdays at 1 are not the best time for everyone. Case in point, today we're doing something on a different day. So if you guys have suggestions of other times that might be better for next semester when we're planning these, we would like your input as well. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Carmen.
Okay,
Welcome.
thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for coming. I know that, as Emily said, this is a little bit different because usually people are used to come here on Wednesday, but we realize that many people like me teach on Wednesdays, and so we wanted to try a little bit different times to see if we can, share our information in different times. As Emily said when she introduced me, my name is Carmen De Lorenzo, and I teach here at MSU for many years. I coordinate the Italian program here, and I also teach another program with Sandia, which is here at CeLTA. We teach French there. And I really like technology. Since I came here at Michigan State, I always tried to do something to improve my classes, and technology was always something that helped me improve and give something more to the class and to my students. So my presentation today is called Increasing Instructional Effectiveness in Basic Italian Courses with Blended Learning Technology. So it's Italian, but it's applicable to any course because it's just sharing ideas. And I'm trying to give you an informal view of what was, my journey on this. And if you have any questions, just, feel free to interrupt me, ask me question. It's not a problem, okay? So first I wanted to refresh our minds on this terminology. So we all often hear classes in person, or we talk about blended courses, online courses, enhanced courses. So I wanted just to clarify a few things. I have this graph here that shows that clearly everybody knows face-to-face or in-person courses. So when we go to the traditional classroom, we see our students and we interact with them. Then we have online learning, which is totally online. We don't see our students, and the students, they just do what we tell them through instructions in our modules. And my favorite is the middle. In the middle, we have enhanced and blended courses. So when I discovered this, I thought, yes, this is really what I like, because I really like to be with the students, but on the other hand, I want them to be more organized and come to class and know what they have to do. So there are some definitions also to be more specific in this different kind of learning. So fully online courses are the ones where the class, as I said, meet only online, and you don't see the students. Exams may be proctored or totally online. Then blended course is an in-person class that uses planned, pedagogically valuable online activities to replace some, but not all, scheduled meeting time. And then finally, web-enhanced courses, which is what I did for my classes, are in-person classes that meet traditionally with the traditional amount of time, but they use online tools to learn at home and come prepared to class. And this helps to enhance our teaching in class, so we don't have, for instance, talk about grammar directly or teach the ABC of the vocab. And also helps the student in their learning, because we know that everyone is a different learner, and many students they need their time to catch up and to understand what they have to do. And that's why I like that. These definitions, they come from this website, which is our MSU Technology, IT Staff Technology Resources, which I really like. And it was very helpful for me when I needed to understand what I had to do and with following rules. If I click in here, we can see clearly my definitions are here, and then explains exactly with a lot of examples and details what online teaching is. And here, when you click in all these links, this website can answer a lot of your questions. So I really recommend, if you are thinking about doing an online course at Blended or Enhanced, to visit that site, because it can give you a lot of information. And they are slightly different also in each university or college, the definitions of blended or enhanced courses. And so it's really important to know what our university expects when we are planning something like that. So we go back to my plan. So this is one of the first tools that I recommend to use. And then why I choose to do a blended or enhanced course. So these are different points. So we have the human and the technology. So many people that I was talking to when I was deciding what to do, they were saying, oh, I really like to see my students, to interact with them. I don't feel ready to do things online. It seems like they are far away. So, but we can blend and choose from these two different groups of things, the technology and the human, and make something work that is more modern and more efficient for everybody. For example, motivation. We think that when we see students in class, we can motivate them. Doesn't work always like that. But maybe if they are doing some work at home on their own, they are more motivated to come to class because they feel more prepared. Personalization. I can personalize the learning of my students, because when I create my modules online, if I have a student with disabilities, can watch the video and read the captions and can understand better than being in class, maybe not listening to me or not understanding what I'm talking about. This is an extreme situation, but it's very important. Feedback. When we're in class, we think, oh, I can immediately give feedback to the students. But we know that sometimes it's hard because we have many students in a class. With the modules online, I think we give feedback in a more specific way to students, especially on their homework or when they ask us questions in the chat. So I really think that is very important. Fluency and listening. Oh, this is really important. When I'm in class, it's very hard to assess all my students. But with the online modules, they can record, and I can see where each one of them is at, which is very important. And clearly, some other people, they think it's more relevant to have a face-to-face meeting, or you can give discipline to the students. You can do all that online. So I think online can really give you mobility, structure, tracking and control, self-study, which is really important for our busy students, and reduce class costs also often, because you can organize your stuff and you can choose only to have free stuff in a platform that is owned by the university, for instance, and global reach. That is especially if you do a totally online course, okay? So I wanted just you to know why I choose to do things my way. And clearly, when we make that decision, it's not very simple. It's not that I can just say, okay, I'm gonna make my class, enhanced today. I can't. You really need to study a lot. You really need to go to different seminars, talk to your colleagues, and have very clear goals. So I was able to reorganize these classes because first I was teaching those classes for many years already before I started. Then I was talking to other colleagues to hear how they changed their classes, and was starting to think, oh, maybe this could work or this not. Then I went to different seminars like Calico. I went to listen to some colleagues' presentation on Maiwala. I read different books like this one. If you want to take a look, it's an interesting book that I really liked. I got this when I did the Adams Academy. I was a fellow at the Adams Academy, and I developed there my first ideas on technology and blended. And so you really need to put everything together. Then you have to really think the goals for your class. And our goal was to align the Italian basic program with the other Romance languages, that they were already enhanced or blended or online. And so we wanted to get from going to class 4 times a week to 3 times a week, and we wanted to organize the program online. And so that's what we did. And the classroom meetings then, they become, as I was saying, the moment where students, they clarify, they can ask questions, they can finally interact, and they can come to class prepared, which is what we all want. Finally, I think using the technology tools is something that really help the students, and is something that helps also them practice more in a more effective way. Even in simple tasks, especially one-on-one, or not only in Italian, but also in other languages, when they are so shy, they have to record the first sounds, If they do it on their own, in their own privacy, it's nice. And then it's going to be much easier when they have to talk to class. They feel more secure, self-confident. So this is my $1,000,000 question, what to do? So because all this seems very simple, but how to make good choices when you are lost in the jungle of technology? Because we are all bombarded, everybody is trying to tell us, oh, you have to use this, you have to use that, and all these tools are so great, we all love them, right? So when I saw all this stuff, this is just an example, I felt overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do. And so I started dividing all these tools in what are they used for. So for instance, I don't know, if I see Connect here from McGraw-Hill, Vista, I know that those are platforms that you have to pay for, and they are books that are already ready for you. How valuable are those? How can I use them? Okay, how expensive are those for my students? Can I modify them, or are just those set tools that I cannot touch? Then MSU D12, sometimes we hate D12 because it doesn't do what we want. And how can I use it in a better way? Because it's free for me, right? So I should use it, and the students can see their grades and everything. In other colleges or universities, they use Blackboard, they use other similar platforms, right? So should I use it or get rid of it and use something different? Then there are all these other tools that I can create items and I can put somewhere for my students. For example, there is Google Classroom, there is the Quia, there is the voice thread, there is Zoom. Kaltura is used to put all the videos that we do, etc. So how can I organize all this? So I was kind of like very confused. So one illuminated moment in my life was when I started to think, okay, let's sit down and decide exactly what I want to do. So before you start, you really need to have a specific plan. So my epiphany was this list. If someone of you is interested, I can photocopy or I can send you the file that I saw while I was in a workshop at Calico in 2016. And I was, wow, this is really what I need to do. So this is from the director of Carla, which was there presenting. And she was really giving us this handout, and she was like, okay, these are your tools. Use your check marks. and add what else do you have and decide what to do. For example, which technologies are available to you and your students to use? What is available at MSU? In our case, what do we have? Then what teaching material resources do you have access to? What is easy for me? What do I know already, for instance? Then funding and using alternative material. How can I use this? For example, there are some languages that they are less taught, that they don't have a lot of material. They don't have books, they don't have audio. And so Madelot, Carla, they have a lot of audio files, they have a lot of interesting material, written, reading materials, a lot of activities that they are free. And we used to have a lot of this also here at CLEAR. And I was using them a lot when I started coming here. Before the Dropbox and all that stuff, we were using the free CLEAR material to have students record and then upload on D2L their speaking. Other things, they were develop your own materials. What are my options? What can I use? What is easy for me? And for last, language exchanges and teletandem. What are some of the things that I can also add? Like if I'm teaching an upper level, maybe I can add something that is like talk abroad, or maybe I can use my language exchange if I don't want to use talk abroad, or maybe I can arrange a language exchange with someone that I know abroad that is totally free. So what can I do? And again, I have this, and it's from Marlene Janshoy, that is the Carla director. So if you're interested, just let me know. So this epiphany really was like, okay, I have to have clear goals and objectives and you have to have that for all your classes. And this helps you to choose those technology items. And you have to be aware of this variety and what is needed, not just overwhelming students. And don't be isolated. That's my conclusion, clearly, because talk to colleagues, and colleagues, they will tell you, there are a lot of people here at MSU that were talking to me and they were very helpful. And finally, this is the most important thing. I think we cannot overwhelm too much the students with too many tools. We have to organize the tools for them, because the students, they already take so many classes. Let's say that an average student is taking 4 or 5 classes. And each class is telling the student to use technology somehow. When they get home, these kids are overwhelmed and they want just their life to be organized and simple. So my idea is to give them a very organized tool that is easy for them to access, and not sending them to 20 different places. So this is my plan. At the end of all that, I just, decide that the best way for me to go was choosing the new edition of the Sentieri book. We were using the older edition, but when I made the decision to do the switch, they were coming up with a new edition. And before they came up with the new edition, they called some instructors that they were using their products. And I was called by them, and we did a meeting. And because Vista Higher Learning is doing only languages, they don't do other math, science, other things, they are really interested in languages. So they asked us, what do you want? And the majority of the people wanted to modify what it was in their platform, because we don't always like what they offer, right? It can be good, but we wanted to maybe modify. And that helped tremendously, because that was one of the first things that I decided to do. I choose these people because I can modify a little bit their product, but it's all organized in one platform. I know that my students, they have to pay, but they gave me options. First, we use this book for 2 semesters, and the students can opt to buy an online only access of the site, of all the exercises and the book. but they can download when they have access anything. Like if they want to download all the audio file, if they want to download the grammar, they can do whatever they would like to do if they're smart, right? Many of my students, they take also snapshots, okay? So to have what they want. And I also have one of these books at the library. This way, if they want to study with a physical book, they go there and they have a physical book on reserve. And actually, I order another one. This way, there are 2 books on reserve. And it's an investment because it's like, I think for 2 semesters, $170 total. Students that they are in need of help because they cannot buy it, I can grant them access for a month until they get to pay the amount that they have to pay, and often they extended that month for them. Okay, so that was very nice also. So that is my main platform, and then my plan was to reorganize the material and to use other tools. So my main base for the course is MSU D12, from where I have a link for this platform. This way the student is not lost. Then I use Zoom office hours, always a link from D12, but also I do office hours in person. Then my videos are almost all transferred to Kaltura. When I started, Kaltura wasn't so organized, so many of my videos, they are still on YouTube, and I'm transferring them slowly, okay, on Kaltura. And then I made my videos on Camtasia because MSU has access to Camtasia, and I didn't have to pay. And I also used other tools for recording other activities, like audio files, okay? So these are my proposed items to create when I propose my proposal to the chair. So the items were, first of all, grammar videos, because the book didn't come with grammar videos. So I created 23 for 101, and at the end I created 26 for 102. Pre-assignment activities, they are 100 and 100, more or less all the activities, you do explain the grammar and then you do something to try. And also not only the grammar, but also the vocab. Then I created some assignments that are called chats, and some of them they are individual, some of them they are partner. And those could have been, they were a nightmare before, but now in the super site that Vista offers, they are using VoiceBoard, and everything is in there. So I didn't have to go here and there to do my material. Then I created also some written assignments. I didn't like the one that they were offered in the book, so I created all those that me and the other instructors, we can rotate, and I keep creating more. I created quizzes, tests, and final exams that can be also transferred online, because I can have the option to do them also online. I try to do some quizzes online, but I'm always, this is a face-to-face class. It's better a shorter quiz than, doing everything online. I really want to assess them pretty well. So that's my plan of organization. So this is more or less how they look. This is how Italian 101 looks this semester with the new look of D12. These are all links. It says online office hour by appointment, so that you click here and you go on Zoom. You don't need to do anything. You click on VHL Central Super Site and you go to the book online. And then there are the other content elements that we all use. This is Italian 102 last spring, this spring, 2018. The look of D12 was different. So same thing, we have the icons here for the office hours, the super size, and the course home brings you to all your organized tools. Okay. Do you have any question? Is this making sense to you? Yes? So I want to show you now how to go to the, what is my cursor? Let's see. My cursor disappeared. Maybe I have to exit and go back. So I want to show you a little bit of this platform. This way you can have an idea of how it works. So as you can see, I use the Sentieri book for 101, 102. Imagine is the book that we use for 201 and 202. And we are going to change this into probably an enhanced course by September. So I'm working on the videos. These two are the French books that I use with Sandia for the French. So this is Espace that we use for 3 semesters, like French 1, 2, and 3. And this is 10 that we use for the AP class for the high school students. So, and they are all organized with this system. Okay, I don't know why my cursor disappears. Okay, so I'll open here. The internet is a little bit slow. This is the view of the page from the instructor point of view, okay? And we have now 3 sections of Italian 101. I teach section 1, and Jessica Toby, my colleague, she teaches section 2 and section 3, but we all teach the same things because she just goes in there and she just grabs the material that I created. So here I have right now 27 students. This is their average. I have an assignment to grade. If a student needs help, I can see it here, and I can answer every single question directly on the activity where the student is having trouble. So here, if I look at the assignment calendar, for instance, you can see that when we do a blended course, the students do prep homework. And in the prep homework, the students, they do the videos for grammar, for vocabulary. They do the prep activities to be ready for class. And then they do, in Italian we call it ripasso, which are activities that they do for reviewing what they have done after they have seen it in class for the entire week, or 2 weeks sometimes, they do that, okay? And here you can see that there is a chat. That is one of those assignments that I was talking about that I assigned already to my students this Sunday. This is 101, and they were already able to record the first chat.
Carmen, I have a question.
Yes.
So the videos that you made, the grammar videos, do they allow you to upload those?
Yes,
there?
now I'm gonna show you those. Yes. So this is the book, okay? So see, this is like the index, and these are the 5 chapters they do in 101. And they are divided in 2 lessons. In each lesson, there are 2 grammar points. And then there is 1 vocabulary. So when you see this word contesti, this means that this is where the vocabulary stuff is. And these are different activities that were already in the book or I modified for the students and I assigned them to them. They are listening. So sometimes I have an audio file and I want them to practice on something. I just record the audio file and upload the audio file in there and ask some questions. Then they have the pronunciation. They have an interactive book. They have the fotoromanzo. They have the cultura, the culture. And the strutture are the grammar. That's where Sandia, she wanted to know. And these are my videos. So these videos, they don't exist with this program. So I created all of them.
They don't have those videos that...
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so in our French book, in Espace, they have grammar videos, but in this book, they don't. So, and actually, they contacted me and they want me to talk about getting my videos now, because they saw that I got the AT&T award, and now they're like, but I don't think we can, because they are property of MSU, intellectual property. I don't know, I didn't go through all that.
With the right amount of money, I think they can.
No, they, yeah. So, for instance, see, one of my students really liked this when in the PowerPoint that I had in class. So I embedded this for them to see it again in class. You know, sometimes they like something, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna post it on D12, but then they never find what you post. But here, everything is in there, and so they really like to find those things. So, for instance, when they talk about grammar, like the title here says nouns and articles, so they throw everything together. But we know that the students, especially the beginners, they need to know all the details. So, for instance, only for that problem, I did 3 videos for the students. I broke everything. One explained masculine and feminine, and one I explained the definite article, and one explained the indefinite articles. And so if I click in here, you see one of my first videos that is still on YouTube. Oh, I don't know if you can hear because we don't have speakers. So this is the pattern that I created.
Did you use Camtasia to create this video?
Yes. Yes, I did create Camtasia, and I was already familiar with Camtasia. Sandy and I, we had worked with Camtasia earlier with some French classes, and so I thought I'd like to have them a very simple format of, you know, like a class, like if they were in class. I had a script, because when you do the videos, you always have to have a script, because you don't want those videos to be more than 5 minutes. And on the other hand, if I made an error or something, I didn't care. I kept going, like if I was in class, you know. And actually, that's the thing that the people from the Vista liked. You know, clearly I have an Italian accent, I'm explaining grammar, I'm using a lot of references from their site. So immediately they send me an email.
I have another question.
Yes.
I noticed that the computer in my office, my computer,
Mhm.
is not installed with Camtasia.
Mhm.
Does yours?
You can ask, I asked Ross,
Oh,
and Ross, I think, installed it on mine. So that's how it worked. So you ask your IT person, and they will give you there are some that we can use. Okay?
Yes, who's in that?
Okay.
Yeah, we have the licenses. So, for instance, when I do these videos, you know, I talk about the topic. I'm using the photo romanzo, that is something that they watch. These are people that they already met, you know, because they watch their stories. And I created all the examples by using these people, so that they already know. So there is always, you know, what we're gonna do today. These are the grammar points. And then all the explanations.
Somewhere between Brody and
Sure. I didn't want to, you know, make it too annoying.
Is that for just here, or is that for any of the other buildings see that, or just for?
If words start with vowel, the apostrophe.
So I try to speak very slowly, you know. Everything is written in there. This way they can re-listen, reload, and everything. And they have the English. And this is the exercise that I created. I used something similar that they had in the book, but I didn't like it, and I just put my own stuff. And so they have to add this indefinite article now, and I give them the solutions, but they can just stop the video and do it again by themselves and guess.
Is the Camtasia video interactive, or is the?
No, it's not.
And when you create the activities, is it that they would do this on paper as they're watching this, or do you have a separate quiz, a separate?
No, they're just, doing it for practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one is not graded then?
No,
Okay.
no. They have one graded that is exactly like this, then on the activities, but with different words, but it's the same thing. So I'm just previewing what they're gonna do for homework practically, okay? And this is the end of the video. They all end like that. I send them to the grammar chat on D12 where they ask questions, and that was really helpful because when 10 students, they ask you exactly the same thing. That was really annoying when you had like 80 students. And so that way you go there and you just see what the other people were asking. And I monitor the chat. So I always have to approve if a student tries to answer and it's not correct. So I say, I have to approve it. They really like that too. So this is the great thing about these people, that they make me do whatever. I can even modify the quizzes, the tests. So they have a template, that's the idea. And then you can modify the way that you prefer. And so these are all my 23 videos that they are spread all into the site. Creating those videos takes a long time, because first I have to create all the PowerPoint. And you saw one, then to make them more happy, I have Ellen DeGeneres that brings flowers, and then I have, I don't know, the people from Friends that they are asking questions, because they really need to see this more like light. And finding all those images and those things and try to do all that is kind of a long process, okay? So that's the idea. So I was in a hurry and working very hard. Only to do the video, it took me like 4 months. And so that was very, very long. And they were redoing my kitchen, so I was happy because I didn't have to cook. I was just working. So that's the idea. The other thing that I wanted to show you is related to my students. So, I show you how I embedded those videos. The activities are also embedded in there, but there are things that my students did, which are, for example, these chats that are also embedded.
You're good. They're just turned on.
Okay, and for example, the students, the students here, they are in 101. And I could use only some samples of students that gave me permission clearly, and so I don't have sample for every single thing. So the book comes with some chats. I don't remember how they call them. I came up with this name. And so this is a partner, so because the two students, they meet online, like kind of with Skype, and they just answer my prompt. So sometimes I just write, especially in 101, what I want in English, because they know and they need to have clear instructions. And while they are growing, I switch to Italian. Or even in 101, I ask them questions using only the vocabulary that they know, and they have to record the answers. So in this case, they needed just to greet each other and talk about a friend, because they just studied adjectives. And so, in this case, let me see if I can show you that. I don't have the speakers, but you can have an idea.
It's still coming through your computer.
It's just-
So it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have to change the. I have to change the input. Hold on. I didn't know that. I'm gonna change quickly the. What is the name?
It should just be the HTTP, or the HDMI.
Oh, it doesn't work like that? It's not on the air?
Oh, wait.
No.
I mean, it's really not 100% necessary for you to.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So, but you get the idea. You understand what I'm talking about, right? No, it's okay. That's okay. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. So I want just you to get the idea that we give them the grade. We can grade comments. I have a grading scale there, so all the stuff is, set for them. It's okay. Don't worry. You're okay, right?
I feel like the sound came out from your
My
laptop
computer.
instead of the screen.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so this is 101, and then same thing, in 102. These are students that they were in the second week of class. They were studying the two past tenses in Italian, and they had to talk about sicknesses because that was what we were learning, and so they had to describe that they were sick. So these two girls, they did very well, and so same thing, I have a video that shows them. Another kind of activity is when I have chats that they are more not partner but individual. So for instance, when we study the clothes and the colors, I use Benetton, which is the Italian brand, kind of like Gap here, and it's very colorful. And we see these kind of things in class, and they describe a bunch of people, and I say, okay, give them names, invent a story about that. And these students, that's what they do, and then they get a chat at home where they have to do the same thing. And I had this student that was very creative, and he called them Franco, Giovanna, and he started, describing them like they were their friends. In this case, in the chat for the 102, see that there are two icons in here. This is my audio, so I create an audio file and I upload it here, and then the student is answering my prompt. Okay?
So this is embedded in the content.
Yes, is an option in that site.
And you are going to grade them.
And I grade them. Yeah, and I
With
grade.
80 students, how are you going to grade them?
It takes a long time, and I do 5 per semester. So that's why I alternate, and I do partner and individual. So it takes a long time, but I grade all of them.
Is there any problem with the technology, like when they record and then they would...
No, I had some problems earlier, but the super site was enhanced, and there are not any problem if the students follow all the instructions clearly. So there could be some students that don't read instructions as always, we are not in a perfect world. So, but it's really voice board. So it's very simple for them. And I send them a video on how to do it, and they just do it.
And you are going to watch the 2 students too? And
Yes.
images?
Yes, yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So these are other elements that I created, which are called temini, short compositions. So students, they want to see that they can write ideas also. And so I didn't like the ones again from the book, and I created here my own prompts. And here is what the student wrote, and I can correct inside like this. I can give some suggestions, and this is my grading scale, where I give them the points.
And this is also embedded.
Is also embedded, yes. And this is a sample for 100 level. So I want to show you how that works. So for instance, when I go here into the platform, I don't know why the internet is a little bit slow. I'll show you like what is set up and what I can do. For example, when I go to here, I have to change the setting, otherwise it doesn't work. Okay. So when I go to activities, let's say that I want to add my own content. Do you see that? So I can create a new activity or from my own content. So if I had already created stuff, it remembers. And we can copy these classes and paste. So Jessica, the person that teaches the other level, she just copies and pastes from my classes and remembers and sees all the stuff that we have created. So if I do new activity, it says composition, partner chat, student recording, or video. And I have all those options. I can create whatever I want. So I can embed a video like I did for my grammar, and I can even embed a video, that's my next project, like with Videoposit, that you can ask questions in the video. So it's just a link, but I'm gonna add it there. And they can do quizzes there, and I see their results. And they can do a composition like I show you, a partner chat, or a student recording. So the good thing that they like is that they have everything in there. In fact, when I say to do something that is not in there, they're lost. They're like, what's going on?
This is much better than D2L.
Yeah, and it's more organized, you know. So for them, D12 is only to arrive there. So that's the idea. So finally, my experience at the end was very positive, even if it was a lot of work. It took like 3 years to create all this stuff, and it's still, you know, a work in progress. And so these are some student opinions, because while I was doing these things, I asked them with a survey, can you tell me if you like this stuff or you think that I'm crazy or whatever. They did the survey, and then they started emailing me. So I got 10 students in one semester emailing me all these long things, you know, and they were saying all these details. And when I was going to class, I saw students opening their papers, and they had all the notes from the video. So, and then they were, oh, but you didn't say this. And I'm like, what? So something like that. So this was one student, then I had this student. So they started emailing me all these comments. So, and actually they are suggesting me to do the 200 level, because this student was now in the 200 level and felt lost because didn't have the same organization. Because in the 200 level they use only the book now. So they don't have the same organization that I have in 101 and 102. And they're like, where are you? Where are all the things? So, and so I was, you know, getting all these messages, and it took some time for them to write all this. So, and it was kind of surprising.
Did you set deadlines for the students pre-reviewing and previewing the grammar and vocabulary?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
So you can track their...
Yeah. So the students, like for example, the students, tomorrow my students have class. So tonight they have to do the work that I present in class. So they're studying, for instance, the verb to have today. Mm-hmm. So tomorrow in class I have a lesson that is all planned, where I already start using the verb to have in examples.
So do the students spend like an hour on average every week?
Yes. Yes.
Do you spread out the time? Like
Yes.
Each day?
I do. Yeah. So they have homework every Sunday night, every Tuesday night, and every Thursday night. So it's spread in 3 nights. Sometimes their homework is a little bit longer because they have to do also the chat, or they have to do the written assignment. I try to give them like less exercises when they do that, and so that's the way I try to balance. Sometimes when they have a written assignment, I assign only the written assignment. So, and I say to them, you know, you are organized, you know what to do, because in that calendar, from day 1, they have the homework until the last day of the semester. It's all there. And that's one of the things that they are saying in these things, that they were doing the stuff early sometimes. Oh, I'm busy this weekend, let me do this. And then, you know, before coming to class, they were taking a look to review, and then they were coming to class. So that was it. This helped me tremendously also because I didn't have to do all that teaching in class, and I could focus more on activities, and you know, it's just now more me giving them input, and they just get in groups, and it's nice because they just turn these chairs and they just start doing stuff. Before they were totally lost. And so, and I tried before doing this with the old edition, you know, I was assigning to them to read the grammar and do the exercises, but it didn't work the same way. Also, you know, on YouTube, I can see how many people are watching those videos. And so I can really track all the views that I have, because they are, you know, unlisted, and you can just see that your students are watching the video. It was funny because...
You mean to say media space?
Yeah, I have some on YouTube,
Yeah, okay.
and also on Media Space, yes,
Oh,
it's the
okay.
same. Yeah, I'm transferring them.
YouTube too, okay.
I'm transferring them because when I started the project in 2016, we didn't have the same organization on Media Space. And so right now I'm transferring everything in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have other grammar video for my 320 class that they are already there. And so I'm just transitioning in moving. Because when you do these projects, you keep working on them.
Do you have a channel on Media Space?
No, I don't have a channel. It's only, you know, unlisted, and it's only by link.
And one more, so when you're working with the textbook website,
Mhm.
then you can grade right in the textbook
Yes.
website, provide feedback right in the textbook
Yes.
website. But then you've also got your D2L site.
Yeah,
And
that's
keeping
only
that
to
updated.
report the main grades.
Okay, and so are you manually going into Vista and pulling the grades from there? And
Yes.
then inputting those grades into D2L?
You can choose to export the grades in Excel, you know, the format that we
CSV?
use. Yeah, CSV, and then import them on D2L, or you can manually put them. So I mean, it's not a long time.
Yeah. The technology is getting to the point that you can have better integration between D2L and this textbook website, but I'm having trouble with it myself. Like it's just, it ought to be that you can go use that textbook website and
Yeah.
you don't have to redo the same work to input
Yeah.
that grade in D2L.
Some people, they told me that they just use the stuff in the website, but you know, I cannot give, I mean, I could give them participation, but I want to give them in-class participation too, for instance, because they get points because they did the homework of prep and because they came to class and they interacted that day.
Amanda, is there an issue of keeping student grades for a definite number of semesters after the course is done? And I'm wondering if it's a textbook website where you're maintaining, is there a danger of that not being accessible?
There's also
after
an
the
issue
class?
of confidentiality
Yes.
of grades.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Exactly.
if the publisher website gets hacked,
Right.
then if that's the only place where students see their grades, that's an issue. Yeah.
Oh, they're only, yeah, so you wouldn't do that as the only place they see their grades for the course?
No,
Right,
yeah,
It's
exactly.
just like, so if you, see, I think what I'm thinking about as you're going into a hybrid situation is that, so if you're saying, okay, I'm taking a course that's been face-to-face, and now I'm moving it to hybrid, and so I'm creating all these materials that are going to be part of that, and it's amazing. You're doing the videos, you're using the online website, you're doing the chats,
Mhm.
you're finding better ways for them to communicate with you about their work, they can
Mhm.
review on their own better, all that's great. And then they're saying, so now I'm spending all of this time on top of the hours that I've already committed to class, so do you reduce the face-to-face time or not reduce the face-to-face time? You know, and then.
Our face-to-face time before it was 4 times a week, now
Yes.
it's 3 times a week.
So-
And that hour, they do that work,
Mhm.
but they do it on their own.
Okay, okay,
But what they don't understand is that sometimes they end out doing more work
sure.
than coming to class.
It can be
But I
better.
think they do better in class.
I mean, in my hybridized class, I've actually used only D2L. And so you would think that the grade could transfer easily.
But it doesn't.
Within D2L.
Huh.
But I don't like, then the grade book, because they have probably, I don't know, 10 activities to
Yeah.
do for each class, then the
Exactly.
grade book is huge.
It's huge.
So therefore, I choose to download it as a CSV file and then just average, and that's their daily prep
So
work.
it's
That's what
visually
I
not
do.
as overwhelming for them?
Exactly, because
Okay.
if they see, you know, I mean, 10 activities for
Right.
times 15 weeks, times twice a week, that's just
Overwhelming.
unmanageable for
Yeah.
anything.
Already imagine mine, they have 26 homework assignments, plus the review assignments, that they are half of those.
Mhm.
So,
And you also run into, like, do I, for those homeworks, do I set it up so they can do it over and over and over again, and then they just get credit for having done it at all?
Mine, they have
Do you take
unlimited
highest grade? Do you
tries.
take the middle grade, do the average grade?
my students, they have unlimited tries, but I give them a very, you know, like homework for me, the prep homework is like 13% of their grade,
Mhm.
because they can copy the homework, they have unlimited tries. They have to show that they know the stuff in the quizzes, right?
Right, so
And maybe
so
that's
practice is low
sorry
stakes,
to
improves the
interfere,
house.
but maybe that's a discussion that could be had in terms of practice for the learning community.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Is the online textbook more expensive than the paper version? Or
No.
No?
If you wanna buy, like, the book comes with a hardcover plus all the components. If you do that, it's more than, I think it's like $270. So then they have another option. They have a loose leaf version, or totally online is like $170 for 2 semesters, but they have access for 3 years.
And the workbook is embedded?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything is embedded in there. So they have access to audio files, and if they want, they can download all the audio files. They have talking flashcards. They have an interactive book that you click on the words and you know, says it to you and everything.